Let's take a look at rounding without a number line. We're going to use the same basic ideas of with a number line, but this time we're going to try to not use that extra tool. For this task, we'll round to the nearest 1,000, starting with the number 4,333. This little squiggly equal sign is a math symbol that we're going to be using, saying round to. The first thing we need to do is identify the place value that we're rounding. The instructions say round to the nearest 1,000, so I'm going to circle the 4 because the 4 is in the thousands place. I'm going to underline the 1,000 place plus the next lower place value, in this case the 3, which is in the hundreds place, because I'm really looking at 43 here. Now, like when using the vertical number line, I have to consider what is my midpoint for the next highest and lowest 1,000. 4,000 is my lowest, 5,000 would be my next highest. So the midpoint between 4,000 and 5,000 is 4,500. Another way to look at that, the low point of 40, high point of 50, in between is 45. So when I take a look at my midpoint, I need to decide, does my 43 go below or above the 45? In other words, is it greater than or less than 45, which is the midpoint? 43 is less than 45, so if I were to put it on my imaginary vertical number line, I would think to myself that 43 is less than 45, so I must round down to the lowest 1,000, which is 4,000. Same basic idea of rounding to the nearest 1,000, even though I have an additional place value here that doesn't come into place when I try to evaluate where I'm rounding, but I can't forget it. This number, 18,753. I will circle the place value that I'm rounding to, in this case the 8. The 8 is in the thousands place. I'll underline the 1,000 and the next lower place value, in this case 100. If I think about what my next highest 1,000 is 9,000. My lowest 1,000 is 8,000, or in this case 80 and 90 hundreds. Halfway in between is 85. 87 is higher than 85. So I need to round up to the next 1,000, which is 19,000. Again, make sure that we're not forgetting this 10,000s place. No, we did not use it for the rounding idea, but we can't forget that it was still there. In this problem, we're rounding to the nearest 10,000, but using the exact same process. The 6 is in the 10,000s place, so I'm circling that, underlining the 65. Well, my lowest endpoint would be 60. My highest endpoint would be 70. 65 is my midpoint. And yes, 65 and 65 are equal, so now I have to peek at the rest of the number. I know that 65,600 is more than just 65,000 straight up, so I have to round up to the next highest 1,000, which is 66,000. If we want to round to the nearest 100,000, again, we can use the exact same process. Circle the 5 because it's in the 100,000 spot. Underline the next place value, which would be 54. My low point would be 50. My high point would be 60. 55 is midway through. The number 54 is lower than my midpoint 55, so I'm rounding down to the next lowest 100,000, which is 500,000.